I'm happy that, by the ruling of the Federal High Court, they have now been declared terrorists, so they are fair game. Because the military were afraid of bombing them and then facing ICC. Media, civil society uh, always rise to protect those that are at the receiving end of something, not looking at the victims of those people sometimes. And no general wants to retire, and then you go to the US and they arrest you and say that you've bombed civilians and so on and so forth. So there was reluctance on the part of the military, but with this declaration by the Federal High Court now, I think we can go after them. So one of the actions we took in our second term of office was also to create a dedicated Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs. In our first term of office, security matters were handled by the Office of the Secretary to the Government. Okay, that's where the security vote is. But we decided to create a dedicated ministry because the SSG is very busy. It's like the SGF. It has many, many things to capture its attention. And the issue of security has become such a serious problem for us that we felt we needed a cabinet level person whose only job is to watch security on a daily and hourly and minute by minute basis. And Samuel Arwan has been doing a fantastic job of that. These are the functions of the ministry. I will not go through that. And some of the actions we've taken in collaboration with the federal government, because you have to understand that we have no soldiers, we have no police, we have no air force, we have no navy. We have at best vigilantes. We have a vigilance service, which we have now amended their law to allow them to carry arms. But initially, we didn't even think they needed to carry arms. But the federal government has been extremely supportive in providing us with the security assets to be able to do this. This on Kaduna Birnin Gwari Road, which is one of the most dangerous roads in Nigeria, and Birnin Gwari Giwa Igabizaria axis that you don't write about because you only report kidnapping on Kaduna Abuja Road. But more of these things happen on these areas than even on Kaduna Abuja Road. Kaduna Abuja Road is a very safe road compared to some of these roads. We have Operation Wild Punch, Operation Badamamaki, you have detachments of the Nigerian Army. All these are security assets provided by the federal government to the state. We provide some logistics, but a lot of this burden falls on the federal government. Next slide. On Kaduna Abuja Road, there are 3 operations going on. There is Thunder Strike, there is Operation Puff Adder. This Puff Adder, I think, is the police. Thunder Strike is defense headquarters along with the Air Force. And they even built a helipad at Kateri for quick response. And then there is a response team of the DSS in Mufti that just drive up and down, hoping that someone will try to kidnap one of them. And and many of these bandits had been neutralized. Many attempted kidnapping operations have been stopped because we listen to these people. We listen to their conversations. I get reports every night. This one is planning to do this. We know. So there are many that could have happened that have been prevented. But of course, those that have been prevented don't make the news. But I just want to say, that our security agencies are doing very well. They are doing the best that they can. You can't prevent everything, but they are really trying. Now, in the southern Kaduna General area, where we have a bit of banditry, but greater risks of ethnic and religious clashes, we have these operations too. Operation Safe Haven, headquartered in Jos. We have a mobile police squadron in Kafanchan. We bought housing estate, 150 million, and gave it to the police so that they can have a mobile police squadron in Kafanchan after the 2016 crisis that affected Kafanchan and 2 other local governments. Since then, Kafanchan has been quiet. Since we had a mobile police squadron, we have Nigerian Navy troops in Kachia, in Kujama, in Makali, and we have all this, and troops at Kasuwa Magani. and special forces, and so on. So as far as southern Kaduna is concerned, it has been really quiet, other than Zangon Katab local government, where the Katabs and the Fulanis are now at war with each other. Even that, I think, has gone down. And we have Nigerian Air Force Special Forces. Kaduna Airport area had also been attacked once or twice, so there is a continued patrol there and operations there. So that place has been quiet. Kaduna Airport, of course, and NDA are close together. And you all know when the bandits tried to go into NDA and succeeded in even arresting, kidnapping an officer. But they tried recently and they were wiped out because we knew they were coming, so they were ready for them. And I think about 30 of them were killed or something like that. Yeah. Next slide, please. So what we've always said is the way to end this banditry is simultaneous military and ground operations. If we have the Air Force bombing the camps, we know why the camps are. We have the maps. We know everything. We have their phone numbers. We listen to their conversations sometimes. So, but it has to be done across the 5 states and Niger State at the same time. What we've been doing over the years is you go to Zamfara, you chase them out, they move to Sokoto. You go to Sokoto, you chase them out, they move to Kebbi. From Kebbi, they move to Katsina, Kaduna. And they move seamlessly because of the forest ranges. So what needs to be done is at the same time, bomb the forests, bomb the camps, and have ground troops on the ground as a blocking force, consisting of the army, the police, the Air Force Special Forces, Navy Special Forces on the ground, and just wipe them out once and for all. Of course, that has risks because some of the camps may also contain innocent people that have been kidnapped. But this is war. In war, you always have collateral damage, unfortunately. And if we continue piecemeal approach to this banditry, it will continue to grow because the amount of money these guys are making is so much that they will not stop. I'm convinced of that. Because the average Fulani man makes 200, 300,000 when he sells one of his bulls that is too tired. They don't usually sell their cows unless they are totally exhausted. Now, this same person now gets millions from kidnapping. He will never go back to that life. This is why I'm convinced that the only solution is to wipe them all out. Or at least decimate them to a point that it is no longer feasible or profitable for you to think you can be in that business. Because it is a business. That's what it is. So, please go back to the previous slide. So, this is what we're working on now. And we've got our vigilance service also armed. And when I say we, I'm not talking about Kaduna State alone. I'm talking about Niger. I'm talking about Kebbi. I'm talking about, all of us. We work together. We are all on the same page that we need to do this. And we're working with the military. We regularly confer with the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of the Air Staff, IG. We're working on this. So we think that we're at a tipping point that we are going to see the end of this very soon, by the grace of God. Next slide. On the advice of the military, we also, implemented some steps like, shutting down mobile networks for a while. We restrict the use of motorcycles because these bandits use motorcycles for logistics. It is motorcyclists that carry food to them, drugs, and even ammunition. We also suspended weekly markets to cut off food supply to them, and that has been quite effective. And so on and so forth. So all these measures we've been taken to, to bring an end to this. But in addition to this, next slide, you see some of the soft initiatives. Because, like in southern Kaduna, um, even when we have enough security footprint there, people must choose to live in peace. So you still have to engage in some dialogue and peace building and community. And that's why we established the Kaduna Peace Commission. Plateau also has a peace building agency, but our own Peace Commission has enjoyed international support, Ford Foundation, U.S. Institutes of Peace, and so on. In fact, our first executive vice chairman has just been offered a job by the African Union because she has been so good in handling that job that she caught the attention of the African Union. So she's moved to Addis. Bishop Josiah Ido-Ferron, the Secretary General of the Anglican Communion Worldwide, based in London, is the chairman. And then we have a group of priests on both sides of the religious divide, Muslims and Christians. They have formed what they call House of Kaduna Family. And they basically engage in peace building and preaching for peaceful coexistence and so on and so forth. We've also enacted a religious preaching law to license preachers, because we believe that most of the problems that are caused in Kaduna State were caused by people that did not go to seminary or did not get proper training to be imams, and they somehow declare themselves prophets or bishops or sheikhs and get on a podium and spew out hatred and all kinds of stuff. The history of Kaduna State shows that. And that's why this law was originally enacted in 1984 by the military regime of Air Commodore Usman Muazu when President Buhari was head of state. That was when it was first enacted, but we looked at it, we passed it through the democratic process and updated the law and also reduced the militariness in it, let me put it that way. And all this have helped in trying to build peace in the state. We've also spent a lot of money on technology. We are the first state to buy drones, UAVs, for surveillance. And that's why when I say we know where these bandits are, we do. We know where they are. We've invested in the technology. We are also doing what we call Safe City project. We are putting TV cameras, CCTV all over Kaduna metropolis, so that when crime takes place, we can get your face, we can get the number plate of your car, we can, it's quite, the cameras are really advanced cameras, biometric quality. And they're being, we've finished the first phase done by an American company. The second phase is being done by Huawei. And before the end of this year, by the grace of, by end of May, I think, by the grace of God, Kaduna will be covered. Then we'll move to Zaria and Kafanchan. We are also building a forensic laboratory, because if you have a person's face as a criminal, but you don't have criminal records, you don't have fingerprints, you don't have DNA capacity, you cannot, right now in Nigeria, we do not have a high world-class forensic lab. And that's why proving crimes is so difficult for the police. But we are building a high-tech forensic laboratory that will hand over to the police to use for crimes. And this lab and its capabilities will be linked to our Safe City project. They will be working together, all in an effort to reduce incidents of crime in Kaduna State. We'll have a single security operations coordinating center. That is already done. We've invited President Buhari to come back in May so that he will commission some of this, because the forensic lab would have been done by then. The Safe City would have been done by then. So this is what we are doing. So those that say that the federal government is doing nothing are being unfair. Those that say that the state government is doing nothing, it's been grossly unfair. We are collaborating. We are trying to get to the end of this problem. But these are the challenges, and we should be upfront about it and understand it. We have insufficient security footprint. Nigeria has a population of 210 million people. We need at least 2.1, we need at least 1.1 million policemen. We have only 1/3 of that. Muiwa, please come forward. We have only 1/3 of that. So we don't have enough police. Okay? Our armed forces is small. The total size of the Nigerian armed forces, Navy, Air Force, Army, everyone is maybe 150,000. The DSS is even smaller. They just recruited and I think doubled to like 20 or 30,000. So we do not have enough boots on the ground to cover everywhere. There are many ungoverned spaces in Nigeria because we don't have enough people. We need more of our police particularly. We need more people in the army, in the Air Force, and so on. So we have shortage of personnel. We have insufficient equipment. Some of these bandits have better equipment than our security forces. So we need to ramp up, arming our security forces, getting them the best equipment, and also technology. So this is all about security. For your patience, I took much more than 20 minutes, but I hope you understand. It's difficult to summarize 7 years in 20 minutes. The first question from my brother from Voice of Nigeria is on succession and continuity. How, well, no, I wish there was an answer to that question. I wish there is a silver bullet. My hope is that the voters in Kaduna will first appreciate the difference between our 8 years and the previous 16 years and vote for APC again. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, my hope is that one of the members of our team, one of the members of our current team, someone that has been part of this last 7 years and knows the method behind the madness, okay? Because everything that we've done, we thought through, we debated before implementing them. And if an outsider comes, it is very easy to deceive and persuade that outsider to take a different course. I've seen that happen in FCT, where some of the things that we put in place were reversed by my immediate predecessor. Because he's a complete outsider, he didn't know what was done. If someone within the FCT system that had worked with us the previous years had succeeded me as minister, for instance, there would have been some degree of continuity because there would be no debate about sacking teachers that are not qualified, for instance. Okay? If the people of Kaduna State vote back that other party, those thugs that we sacked will come back as teachers. There is nothing I can do about that. But my hope is that, as we saw in 2019, the people of Kaduna are smart enough. They have seen the difference between the two parties and the two governance styles, and they will make the right decision. On our own part as a party, my hope is that our members will vote for someone from within our team to continue to build where we've left off, correct some of our errors, and go forward. That's my hope. But it is something that keeps me awake at night. I'm more worried about the succession in Kaduna than I am about the next president of Nigeria. But other than pray a lot and seek for God to choose for the people of Kaduna what is best for them, not necessarily what I want. Okay? I have some preferences for who will succeed me. Of course, because I've worked with people for 7, 8 years. Some of them I've worked with for 20 years. I know them very well. I can guarantee that they will do this, they will do that. But at the end of the day, it's up to the people of Kaduna State. If they buy my arguments and go, and I'm unlikely to come out and anoint one person. I will put my team in a room and try to get them to agree to a successor. If they're able to agree, then it's easy. We all go out, this is our man, this is the person that was part of everything and is likely to continue to build on where we are. So support him. It will be easier to talk to the party leadership and membership to say this is the one that we've all agreed. All the potential aspirants or all the aspirants. But you know how politics is. Everybody thinks he can win. So it is not likely that you can convince people to agree to this. And I will not force anyone. So we will see how the selection process goes. But you are right, it's a major issue. But what can you do about it? You just do your best and leave the rest to God. On security, one of the slides shows some of the non-kinetic measures we've taken. We established the Kaduna Peace Commission. We have the House of Kaduna Family. We have regular security council meetings. We are forming a farmers, herders, reconciliation committees at all local governments so that when there is any issue between farmers and herders, they go in and be the first line of resolution and so on. But some of the issues some of the insecurity challenges that have endured have more to do with ethnic and religious intolerance. This banditry is a new phenomenon. The one that Kaduna has been famous for is ethno-religious crisis. We have managed to contain that to a large extent, and I think people are learning to live together. The ethnic enclaves, particularly in Kaduna, are dissolving. People now, Muslims and Christians live together now because everyone feels safe enough. It will take a long time, but I think we are moving in the right direction. I think the key issue is for people to understand that every Nigerian has the right to live anywhere in Nigeria that he or she chooses. You don't have to agree with him, but so long as he is law-abiding, you should let him be. And there is beauty in diversity. The most advanced countries in the world are those that are the most diverse. There is beauty in that. There is beauty in size. Nigeria is better, bigger, together. So it's something that we have to keep working on. We've done our bit. We hope those that come after us will do theirs. Dr. Anule, I am persuaded that the insurgency in the Northwest is far more lethal, far more serious than Boko Haram. Both in terms of the numbers of people affected. As you can see, these are just Kaduna numbers for 1 or 2 years. I can assure you the numbers in Zamfara and Katsina are 2 to 3 times this, if they are keeping tabs. The numbers in Sokoto and Niger and Kebbi will be about this. So we are talking of tens of thousands of people getting killed, getting kidnapped. It's far more serious than Boko Haram. The only thing is that these guys don't take territory. They are in the forests, in ungoverned spaces. So they do not attract the same kind of single-minded attention that Boko Haram does. And because Boko Haram's ideology is religious or pretentiously religious, it elicits more passion. But really, this is a far more serious problem. Because this is largely a situation in which people of about the same ethnicity, about the same religion, killing each other, stealing each other's property, or creating an industry out of criminality is very, very, very serious. And it requires single-minded attention. And I have told you, and I will come to that, as I said, which brings me to the next question. Yes, we know where these bandits are. We have the maps, we have the camps. But somebody has to go in and kill them. I can't do that. Okay? Now, if that somebody doesn't have enough men, doesn't have enough firepower, doesn't have uh, technology, no one is going to commit suicide. This is why, under this administration, the Nigerian Governors Forum, collaborated with the federal government to take money from the excess crude account to buy these super Tucanos and other armaments to help strengthen our defense infrastructure. We have to continue to do that. That is one. Second, how many men do we have and women in the armed forces and the police? How many? And look at how stretched they are. The last time I checked, the Nigerian army is engaged in internal security operations in 32 states. So how many people can you spare at a time to go into these forests? These are the issues. Of course, you cannot double the size of the armed forces and police overnight. It requires selection, training, and so on. But you can invest in superior armaments and technology which can bridge that deficit. And that requires a lot of money. There was also another constraint, which I referred to. The fact that these guys are just disorganized groups. So you cannot call them insurgents until the Federal High Court, on the application of the Attorney General, looked at all the facts and said, these guys are terrorists. Until that declaration was made, any military action against them could be considered a crime against humanity. And while we're waiting for that, these guys have strengthened, they have collected a lot of money, they have done this, they have done that. So we are facing a massive monster that is financially oiled, and the arms are there from the collapse of Libya and so on. The arms are there, they are coming in. Some of them superior to what our police and armed forces have. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done. The intelligence is the first step. We have that. But now we must have the capability to be able to go in and wipe out these guys. And we should not do so if it will mean putting our soldiers and our policemen at risk. One of the new phenomena that we've observed in the last month or two is planting of mines. This one is Boko Haram, it's not bandits. We lost 5 soldiers in an APC that, got on a mine. Last week, a cow stepped on a mine and died. Luckily, no one was killed. So it's a complex problem, and it requires, a coordinated solution. But the solution is on the table, and our hope is that, this will be implemented very, very quickly. A lot of work was done to track the financing of Boko Haram and their supply chain. Part of the reason why they have been surrendering in droves was because the financing has been cut off and their logistics chain was disrupted, thanks to the government of the United Arab Emirates that caught some people, sending money from there to here that went to Boko Haram. And then our own intelligence agencies here did a very good work. I was shocked to learn that one of the leading financiers of Boko Haram lived in Zaria, Kaduna State. I was shocked. And when I saw the amount of money that went through his account, I said, how come I didn't know this? I would have taxed the man, at least. Please collect tax on it. So it was an excellent job done by the Nigerian security agencies. It was mostly military intelligence that did it. And I think a similar exercise needs to be launched for the bandits. Because the report of the Boko Haram one also showed some links to some of the bandit leaders and even some military and police officers. Okay? So that needs to be done. And we have already made the case to the federal government to ensure that that is done. Because if we can cut off the financing and the supply chain, you are right. Nobody will take 200 million and keep in the forest. It's somewhere in the towns. And we have to find that, and we have to do something about it. Once you can cut off the financing and seize the monies that they have accumulated and disrupt their logistics supply chain, 50% of the job is done. That's why Boko Haram people were surrendering. It's not that they are repentant. They are starving, no food, no money, no, They are not repentant. So I think I've answered Daily Trust's question. We know where they are, but these are the constraints. These are the constraints, and these constraints are being addressed. More?
No, 3 questions.
Channels. Am I concerned that there are infiltrators? Yes, we are concerned. And it is not impossible to have infiltrators. As I alluded to when I was answering this question, the preliminary report of the Boko Haram financing also showed some links to bandits and pointed to some police and military officers in service as having some communication or connection with the bandits. Okay? So there is always that risk. In any system, you have traitors. And we are concerned about that. But till date, we don't have any firm evidence of that. I think a lot more work needs to be done. As I said, we need to pursue the financing and logistics chain of the banditry as well, because the amount of money these bandits are making is enough to destabilize this country. It's a lot of money. A lot. We only have an idea of what it is because those that make the payments don't tell us the truth all the time. But we hear from the legal intercepts of the conversations, about how much money they are asking for, how much they have received, and so on. And the numbers are mind-boggling. It's a major source of national insecurity. And it will grow unless it is decisively dealt with. So, yeah, I am concerned. Now, you said if I'm president, what would I do? I've already, you see, first, I'm not president. I have not thought about being president. And I have privileged access to this president. So if there is anything that I think a president should do, I would have told Mr. President. So I will not tell you what I told him needs to be done, because my discussion with the president is privileged unless he says that he wants to disclose it. But we have discussed what needs to be done, and I am assured that it's going to be done. That's all I can say. And then you talked about, you want to know about my ambition. I have zero ambition. None. I just want to finish this job and get on with my private life, write another book. make tons of money. The largest amount of money I ever got in my life was from writing Accidental Public Servant, and it's still selling. Why would I tell you? Okay? So, I will take this question along with this day's question and business day. I have no ambition. I've never had any ambition. And if I die today, I am quite accomplished and happy because I never in my life, based on my humble backgrounds, ever thought I would even enter this building, ever in my life. How? How would I ever enter where the president's office is? So for me, even being here is a privilege, if you know my background. And God has been very kind to me. And my outings in public service have all been satisfactory. And why push my luck and go for a job with a 90% chance of failure? So I'm not, I'm not an ambitious person. I'm just a person that gets things done when given the opportunity. That's it. And that's why, I've never lobbied for a job. I've never desired to. Even this governorship, it was President Buhari that literally forced me to run. I wasn't interested in running. I just wanted us to defeat Jonathan, and I would come to the villa and be enjoying myself. I would have been one special advisor, domestic, and anytime they are flying to New York, I did there. Anytime that's the life. Not, and I will not have had gray hairs. But the president insisted that some of us must go and run for governorship, just in case he did not get elected again. He felt that, we needed some strong governors. Those were the words he used. So I was forced into this. I've never desired to be Minister of FCT. Obasanjo just called me and said, I'm appointing you. I've never wanted to be DGBP. I was called and given. That's it. So I have zero ambition. I have no aspirations. Okay? I want to clarify that the APC zoning arrangement that we announced is the zoning arrangement for the party. Okay? And we always did that in the last 3 elections we've had. When we elected Chief John Oyegun as chairman, we had this zoning arrangement. Each zone will have these positions and so on, 6 zones. And we carried that to the time when Adams Oshomole assumed office as chairman. All we did now is to flip it. Okay? Since the chairman is going to be from North Central, it means that North Central will take all the positions of South-South. If you check, you will see all the positions allocated to North Central were positions held by South-South under Oyegun and under Oshomole. Now, all the positions held by Northwest went to Southeast and vice versa. All the positions held by Northeast went to Southwest and vice versa. That's why Southwest will now produce the National Secretary. The National Secretary under Oyegun and Oshomole was Maima Labuni. So that's all we did. We are not talking about the presidency yet. We are not talking about the presidency. When we do this convention, we elect national officers. Then we start preparing for the primaries that will produce our candidates for House of Assembly, House of Reps, Senate, and the presidency. That's when that conversation will take place. What we have done with the zoning presented to Mr. President on Tuesday, which he has approved, is sending a signal about the direction of the party. It is not zoning any presidency to anyone yet. But we've sent the signal. Okay? And you ask me if I would support a Southwest candidate. I will support any APC candidate if I'm satisfied he will do the best for Nigeria. I will. It doesn't matter where he's from, Southwest, Southeast, South. APC is what matters. And the quality of the person. And the discussion we are having is that the presidency is zoned to the South. It's not zoned to any particular place in the South. The South will have the first go at it. But we're waiting to see who are the aspirants. A few people have declared their interest. We are waiting. As for me personally, all I can tell you is unless in an exceptional situation, what President Buhari tells me, this is the one I want to be my successor, that's why I'm going, because I trust his judgment. Now, if I disagree, I will go into a room and tell him. I will tell him. We have done that a few times, and he knows. I will tell him, I say, I don't think, sir, this is right, and these are my reasons. But if he still says, yes, I've heard you, Nasir, that's what I want. I say, okay, I'll do it. So I hope I have answered everything about 2023. And I'm surprised that a business newspaper is interested in political issues. Okay, let me come back to 4-day work week. As you know, Kaduna State, as part of our governance reforms, introduced a 4-day work week. We work from Mondays till Thursdays. Our weekends start from today. So tomorrow, nobody goes to work in the Kaduna State Public Service, unless you want to. Personally, I use Friday as my catch-up day. I go to the office. But I don't take visitors, I don't take, I just use it to catch up on paperwork and read long memos and so on. And we usually have our executive council meetings on Mondays. The memos go out on Thursday, so, you have time to now read them. So, I just, what are the benefits? The benefits are that people rest more, they have more family time, they have more leisure time, they spend more money, it's better for the economy. And for those that are interested in doing a side business like farming, you have more time. The challenges that we face, which we have resolved as far as public service is concerned, is what is the impact on education. But we found that that was the easiest, because schools have classes up to 12 anyway on Fridays. It's 4 hours. So we just increased Monday to Thursday by 1 hour each. So we covered that. The health sector was the easiest because the health sector always operated a shift system. 36 hours a week. Okay? Where we are having challenges is with the private sector because of overtime. Because now, if you work on Fridays, it's extra pay because it's overtime. So we have not imposed it on the private sector yet. We are discussing with them to have a transition period of 2 to 3 years. But certainly in the public sector, we've resolved all the issues. We're drafting the regulations to gazette them, and everyone in Kaduna is happy with it. There are some people that try to give it a religious angle to say, oh, El-Rufai is doing this because he wants Muslims to have Friday off. But the truth of the matter is, Friday has always been half day anyway. Most people don't work more than 1 or 2 hours on Friday. So in terms of time, we are not losing anything. In terms of religion, if you say it's religion, so why have Muslims never complained that Sunday is day off? And when one pastor, we have our interactive sessions from time to time, religious harmony, and so one pastor raised that. I told you, I said, look, you don't have to. You can go to work on Friday. There is no law stopping you, but we will stay at home. Enjoy. So these are the benefits, and the challenges are all around the private sector. The extra cost for the private sector arising from increased overtime costs. But this has been implemented in many countries, in many private companies, and they have published the benefits. When people rest more, they are more productive when they come on Monday. They do much more work. And most people are tired by Thursday anyway. I mean, let's be realistic. I don't know how people in Lagos survive. Every day, 4 hours in traffic for 5 days. I don't know if Saturday and Sunday are enough for them to rest. That's why I feel that all those that have lived in Lagos for 20 years should just go straight to heaven because they have already lived in hell. Honestly, they have paid their due, so they should just be given free pass. Anyway, so for us, the 4-day work week is working very well. There is no salary cut. Nothing. You have one extra day on your hands to catch up, to do this, to do that. And we're encouraging people to go back to school, to take, we have many universities and polytechnics in Kaduna State. Go and keep educating yourself. So that Friday will help. And we will also be using Friday as the training day. When you want to do internal training, seminars, and so on. We do that in Kaduna State government. I know it's strange for some people, but we do seminars, we do brown bag meetings, So yeah, it is working for us, but these are the challenges and we're working on them. When we have the full raft of regulations gazetted, we'll be happy to share them with you. But we believe that the world is going in that direction. And why did we learn that? It was the experience of COVID-19. For 15 months, all employees of the Kaduna State government below level 12 were not going to work. And they were being paid full salary. And the government was working. Then we realized that, do we really need these people? But that was not the question. It convinced us that we can do more with less. And that coming to the four walls of an office is not necessarily the only way to work. COVID forced us to recognize that. Luckily, our technological platform as a government was quite advanced. So, we were communicating, we were doing our work and so on. So this is how the discussion started. And then when we realized that Finland was doing it, Denmark, some American companies are doing it, UK is introducing it, we said, Iceland has done it for years, France, we said, why not? Kaduna has always been the outlier. Let us try it. We are the guinea pigs. The question from Bloomberg, unfortunately, I cannot answer the question. I don't have the technical details. I am a leader at the political level. If I had come with the Commissioner, Business, Innovation and Technology, he can read out the numbers for you. All I know is the $600 million investment on 143 hectares of land. And this is what it looks like. What I would like to suggest, if the State House Press Co agrees, is we can arrange a tour, a visit to the facility before commissioning, so that you meet, first you tour the facility, you see what Ajakuta could have been if we didn't go to Russians, bloody communists. And it's on Kaduna Abuja Highway. What is R? See, Lagos man. The moment you say you know, when I was doing my youth service, I served in Abeokuta, and you see someone say, "I will finish you, I will damage you." The moment you slap him, he says, the fight is finished. Kaduna Abuja road is quite safe. I just gave you a brief of the number of security operations on the road, and don't worry, we will make sure you're protected on that day. But I think it's something worth doing, because I think it's a transformational moment for Nigeria's industrialization, and everyone should be part of it, and we should celebrate it more. And we'll be happy to arrange for you to go, visit, tour, and ask them these questions. How much have you invested? How many tons are you producing? This, that, this. Because they say they have enough iron ore there to last them for like 30 years. Okay? So we'll be happy to arrange that, because honestly, I don't have the details. I don't know whether Muyu or Samuel, do you know anything about it?
We can just organize.
We don't. We can organize it. We'll be happy to do so. Okay, how much have we spent on security? The last time we calculated in recurrent, that is security support to federal agencies and our own vigilance service and so on, we have spent close to 21 billion. Yes. Yes. But we are talking of 7 years. Okay? In terms of capital investment, drones, safe city, radio frequency, GSM tracker, we bought our own. We don't rely on the NSA or the GSS. We have ours. We bought all this. The forensic lab, I think by the time we'll be done, is, I don't know, another 10, 12 billion. And how much have we been reimbursed by the federal government? 100 million for the security operation we did in 2016. So we look, we are not talking about reimbursement or anything, but it is worth it if we are able to achieve full security. We continue to invest in this. We don't count the cost of security. We just want to achieve full human security. That's what bothers us. And then naming and shaming Boko Haram financiers. I'm sure there is a good reason for it. It's not about naming and shaming. Most of them are in custody. They are going to be tried. And you need to be very careful how much you reveal before putting them on trial. Virtually all of them are in custody. I can assure you that, because the operation included my state, so I was being briefed as it was going on. And we know the names, we know everything, but what benefit is it? What shame is there when they are already in custody? They will be on trial soon, and their trial is likely to be public, so you will know them. But they're everywhere, including in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Everywhere, all over Nigeria. But I am sure there is a good reason why Minister Lai Mohammed did not mention the names. And the reasons have to do with the fact that they are going to be tried. I think I have answered all the... Yes, debt profile of Kaduna State government. Well, you know, when we came into office, Kaduna was the second most indebted state in Nigeria after Lagos. And we are still the second most indebted state. We have not even been close to Lagos. We have borrowed, yes. Every state has borrowed. In a time of recession, the only way to sustain growth is through borrowing. The people that are saying that the federal government is borrowing forgot that the previous government enjoyed $100 a barrel oil price, squandered it all, and still borrowed. And did nothing with it. No infrastructure, No investment, all consumption, private jets. Nigeria had more private jets than any country on the continent. That's how the money went. Now you've taken over years of infrastructure deficit, years of underinvestment in human capital. And every year we add 8 million babies and 5 million young people join the workforce. How are you going to deal with that? Just to maintain the levels of unemployment, we must create 5 million jobs every year. How do you deal with that? The only way to do it is to massively invest in infrastructure that will enable investments, that will enable investors to come in and put money and create those jobs that you need. This is what this government has been doing. It has been borrowing, yes, but you can see the results of the borrowing. Kaduna State government has borrowed under my watch, yes, but go to Kaduna, you will see it with your koro eyes. Before they were borrowing, the money ended up buying apartments in Dubai, nothing in Kaduna. Today, property values in Kaduna are rising. People are building. Everybody wants to have a house in Kaduna because rents are rising. There is business activity, there is investment. Why? Because we've invested in infrastructure, and the loans will be paid back. How much is the debt profile? What are the numbers? I don't know offhand. If I have come with the Commissioner of Budget and Planning, he can read out the numbers of foreign and domestic debt and what is our debt service and what is it. Yes, we have borrowed. But the results are there and the investments are flowing in, and we will be fine by the grace of God. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Question online. Yeah. One more question came online. Yeah. Mr. Chooks Okay is asking, what is the role of CSOs in the successes recorded by your administration in Kaduna in the past 6.5 years?
Mike, okay. Civil society organizations have been major partners, frankly, in Kaduna, in every way, in virtually every facet. We try to engage and get inputs from civil society, from our budgeting to our social protection plans, to virtually everything. The Open Government Partnership Committee, for instance, is co-chaired by someone from the government and someone from civil society. For sexual and gender-based violence, we engage actively with civil society. We are the first state to pass that bill, gender protection bill. We actively engage with them. In fact, in our Fiscal Responsibility Commission, we have the head of budget, Sheun Onigbinde, as one of the commissioners of our Fiscal Responsibility Commission. So we have civil society members on certain regulatory bodies of the Kaduna State government, so that they see what we are doing and they have their input. You know, they can be a nuisance sometimes, but the nuisance ones are the ones that are detached from the problem. For instance, a civil society organization that is in Kaduna knows what we are doing, okay? But you will hear Serap sitting in Ikeja writing, Kaduna State government must give us this Freedom of Information Act. Come to Kaduna first. Our Freedom of Information law says you cannot ask us for information unless you are a resident of Kaduna State. We are only accountable to people in Kaduna, not to you. You can't sit in Lagos just because you want to impress donors and collect dollars and say you are fighting. You write me from Ikeja and say you want this from Kaduna. I'm not giving. What are you going to do? Okay? So, when civil society, no, seriously, when civil society engages honestly and they want to be helpful, they want to be partners, there is nothing better than that. But when they want to get headlines or donor money, they can be destructive. But we've not had that experience in Kaduna, because as I said, we know how to deal with the Lagos civil society, newspaper headlines, social media titans. So I will recommend to everyone to engage very actively with their local civil society organizations. They are close to the people. They give you an alternative view. They give you a voice that helps make policies better. And we've never regretted, our partnership with Budget and many other responsible civil society organizations.
Some of them are even appointed into government.
Yeah.
As commissioners, governors, the peace commission.
Yes. In our peace commission, for instance, we got civil society. Our revenue board, we have them because they're a good eye, they're a critical eye. And Samuel is reminding me that, many of them we brought into the government to help. So, yes. So, Chooks, civil society is good most of the time. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Oh, this show.